Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest, former Clarkson captain and ECAC champion, Devin Brosseau, joins the pod. Devin, welcome to the podcast, and how's everything going?
Thanks, Matt. Good. Everything's going good. Obviously, in the summer, it's nice to be home, nice to enjoy things. So, can't complain, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And how's your off season going, and how's training going, preparing for the upcoming AHL season?
It's going good. It's going good. Like I just said, I mean, it's nice to be home after, quite an eventful year for me, well, for everyone actually, with this whole pandemic going on. So, nice to be home. Nice to see the family and friends here in Montreal, and training's going well. It's a little shorter time than we had last year, which I don't mind. I mean, it's different. We adjust with the trainers, adjust for skates, and came back, took about a month off of skating, a couple of weeks off of training just to reset. Now we're in the midst of it, so just working hard and looking forward to camp already.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what is one area of your game you're trying to improve on the most for this upcoming season?
It's a good question. I think my explosiveness is something I always, look to improve every summer. In terms of a skill that maybe, could be useful for me up in the American League would just be, using my body a little more. So, working on that a lot on the ice, and having a quicker release, making plays a little quicker, will go a long way.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And obviously, this is a college hockey podcast, but I have to ask you, what's the main difference you've noticed between pro hockey versus college hockey?
I mean, there's quite a bit of differences. There's actually good amount of similarities, I'd say, as well. I think everything, the quickness of execution, passing, a little bit of skating, shooting, decision making, maybe a little quicker. I think that's normal for every type of level that you go up. But I think both leagues are very structured. Well, I mean, both leagues, just pro hockey is very structured, just like NCAA. And so in terms of that, it was easier transition. But yeah, I mean, I think guys are patient, but yet do everything quicker. So once you get settled into the game, you understand college prepared you well. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Jake Gaudet, who just won a national championship, and he went straight to the AHL. And he was saying the corners and just those puck battles is something that he had to adjust to the most, making that jump from college hockey to pro hockey.
Yeah, for sure. You obviously meet some big guys as well, and it's a grittier battles in the corner. I think everyone in pro hockey has a really good stick, so you got to learn to protect the puck well and get out of the corners and stuff like that. So that was definitely an adjustment for myself as well.
Now, let's start off talking about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now. So you're from Quebec. Just talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, so I grew up on the South Shore of Montreal, maybe 10 little city, 10 minutes away from Montreal. Um, I just kind of got into hockey. I think I started figure skating actually when I was like 3 years old. So 3, 4 years old, when you're a little guy, just getting the base of hockey, base of skating down for a couple of years, and then got right into it with hockey. I've been playing ever since. Played all my minor hockey around here up until my first year of juniors, I think, and then that's when I made the move to junior hockey there in Vancouver, and went on to Clarkson.
Who was your favorite player growing up? Was there a player you admired the most that you tried to model your game after growing up?
Um, I mean, that's a tough question. Obviously, kind of look at everyone, but being from Montreal and being a big Habs fan when I grew up, kind of always looked at the Habs players and guys like Saku Koivu or Alex Kovalev, just guys that you're always on the edge of your seat at home when you watch the game as a kid. So paid attention to the Montreal Canadiens a lot, and then obviously got guys like Sidney Crosby when they entered the league. Was it's just phenomenal player, and kind of looking at him and now it's too hard to pick. You got some great players everywhere, and so yeah. But when I was younger, I'd say those Montreal Canadiens guys.
Yeah, what was your thoughts on Crosby's attempted Michigan goal last year? I don't know if you saw that, but if that went in, I feel like that would have broke the internet.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I think He tried. Did he try it on his backhand too?
I think so.
Was
I'm
it?
not
Yeah,
quite sure.
yeah. I think he did. I think he did. So, you obviously have a couple guys. Sheshnikov got it couple times. It's becoming a good move. I mean, I'd love to try, but I don't think that's in my skill set as of right now during a game.
I think Zegras almost did it for his first ever NHL goal, but I might be wrong on that. I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's got the chance to play against him a little bit in the American League this year, and he's quite the player. Got an unbelievable skill set, and so I'm not surprised that he made the jump right away to the NHL, and probably looking to stay there for a long career.
Oh yeah, he definitely will be. I've saw him once with Boston University, and he was just a fun player to watch. So can't wait to see what he does with the Ducks in the future. Now,
Absolutely.
now getting back to your hockey career, before college, you played in the BCHL. Just how'd you get the opportunity to go there and play for that league?
You know what? I was just, I played my first year at junior here for my hometown. Luckily, we have a junior A team as well, and I was lucky enough to win the league championship here, and a lot of guys were taking this next step, and a lot of guys weren't returning to the team, and I kind of went to this Apex showcase, which is kind of like it was newer at the time, where it's just an NCAA showcase in Montreal, things you don't really see very often here in Quebec, unfortunately. And now more and more, but back then, and I was just talking to a few NCAA coaches, and they said, they recruit a lot out west and things like that. And, I kind of just picked a team, picked Nanaimo, reached out and asked if I, could somehow get to camp or hop on the team or something, if I could get a shot, take a look at me. And I think I was 18 years old, just turned 18, packed all my stuff and headed down there in the BCHL and kind of made the team and spent 3 years there. And so, to answer your question, it was kind of just picking up the phone and, asking my way onto the team. And I got that tryout, made the team, and didn't look back from there.
And what was your experience like in the BCHL, and how did it help prepare you for college hockey with Clarkson?
It was great. I mean, that in college, those three of my best years of my life. I mean, especially the city of Nanaimo, everyone was so great, and you can't complain when you're on the ocean, city on the ocean, and you're playing hockey and it doesn't snow year round. And then in terms of hockey, we had some great players on the team. Actually, a couple of guys a guy I went to Clarkson with, Sheldon Rempel, and a guy I now play with in Bakersfield, Yanni Kaldis there, who he was at Cornell. But made some great friends along the way, and in terms of hockey, really, I think it prepared me well. Playing 3 years there, so I played through. I played my 20-year-old year there, which was a decision for me, not going to making the jump to Clarkson at 20, but going back one more junior year to be able to kind of elevate my game and build some confidence. And I think that helped a lot for me personally, just stepping in the NCAA then the next year and being more ready and being able to have, a bigger impact, I'd say, as a freshman at Clarkson.
And what was your recruitment process like to Clarkson, and what made you want to go there versus other schools you might have talked to?
So, as like I said earlier, where I talked to a couple NCAA schools of where I should go play junior and kind of pick Nanaimo. I think I played. We were at that BCHL showcase, which is the first two games is kind of where all the teams play at the same rink in Chilliwack, and all the NCAA teams come because it's a showcase, obviously. And so right away there, after I had a good showcase, and right away after, I had good amount of teams just talking to me and starting the recruiting process. And for me, it took a couple months to kind of narrow the teams down, but I always had a kind of sweet spot for Clarkson, being so close to home, 2.5 hours from Montreal, one of the closest, other than Vermont, I would say the closest to Montreal. I had played in Vancouver for a while, and it was nice to to play in a place where my family can come and see me and friends, and so that was definitely a weighing factor. But mostly because they were really genuine with me, and had good expectations of me, and just felt like it was the right fit. I remember my coach kind of telling me, hey, do you want to be, big fish in a small pond, or do you want to be a small fish in a big pond? And that kind of stuck with me for some reason. And that was, big part of my decision as well, Clarkson being a small program and being able to come in there and having an impact right away. Um, I think it was the case for a lot of guys in our class, and in our class of 2020, picking Clarkson and choosing Clarkson. I thought we had a really good recruiting class, and which helped kind of, not turn the program, because it was a good program before we got there, but kind of uplift it and, make it a, what I think is top 10, definitely a top 10 program in the nation. So pretty happy with the pick.
Yeah, no, it definitely worked out for sure. And going into playing your first couple games at Clarkson, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it just the speed of the game or the physicality, since you're going against players that might be a little bit older than you were playing in juniors?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Both those. I think the speed and the quickness is definitely a factor. Like I said, jumping uh, from any level, that's something you got to adjust to. But mostly, I think the physicality. I mean, you're playing against men. When you make the jump, you're playing against 21, 22, 23, 24-year-olds. We even had a couple 25-year-olds on the team at the time, and even throughout my 4 years. So you're playing against men. You're playing against guys that are developed physically, and so it really shows in battles and in one-on-one situations. And you got to learn to use your body a little more, use your stick, and so that obviously was a big adjustment. But yeah, I think those would be the two biggest ones.
Now, in your first 2 years at Clarkson, you lost in the ECAC quarterfinals your freshman year, and then you lost in the championship game your sophomore year against Princeton. I guess, what did you learn during those first two ECAC playoff runs that helped elevate your team's game your junior and senior year? Because I'm reading your stats or your record from your freshman to your sophomore year. You guys improved from 18 wins your freshman year to 23 wins your sophomore year, and it just kept improving as your career went on in Clarkson.
Yeah. I think my first year, when we lost in against Cornell, I still remember it was game 3, 3-3. I think throughout the year, and the playoffs were kind of the cherry on top, was that we were what I thought kind of a mediocre team. I think we were pretty sure we were like 18-3 that year, or something like that, where it was you couldn't be more 500, could be more on the line. And I think that's where, a lot of people on the team, and especially, our class coming in from teams who had a lot of success, prior to coming into Clarkson, we didn't, that made us realize, hey, this is not what's going to happen for 4 years. We want to take that step and become, having a more winning mentality and achieving things. And I think that was a big step for us. First year, that's when we kind of realized and put things together and line things up and kind of adjust our culture a little bit. And, I think right away, it was nice to see some improvement right away in the second year. And, throughout the season as well, everybody, you could sense that, a little bit more of a winning mentality, and carried through the playoffs, where we unfortunately lost there in overtime in the ECAC finals against Princeton. Showed a lot of character. And I mean, at that point, the second year losing that far, it was nice. It was nice to make the tournament as well. It was like the first time in I don't know how many years. I want to say 7 or 8 that Clarkson hadn't been to the tournament. So that was kind of a stepping stone, an achievement, and a bar we set ourselves for the years to come. And at that point, I think it was experience. I mean, I think a lot of guys learned what it was, and how much it hurts, losing in the finals. And that's because we, put everything on the line and stuff. And so when we came back for the third year, especially, and the fourth year when I was there, everyone, even the incoming freshmen at the time, we kind of imposed that culture on them and just improved from then on.
Yeah, and you played Providence in the national tournament your sophomore year. Just talk about that experience, what it was like playing against that team, And unfortunately, you lost that game 1-0. But overall, just how'd you use that experience heading into your junior year, making that run to the ECAC championship?
Yeah, I think that might have been one of the most frustrating games for a lot of guys on the team. I mean, obviously, you go to the tournament and you're not looking to lose 1-0, especially not 1-0 to a team that you had. I think we had beat them 3 times during the year. Yeah, it was nice to get to the tournament, but really frustrating to lose 1-0. I remember that game like it was yesterday. Providence played a really well structured game, and it was hard for us to create offense and tip the hat to them. But it got pushed us even more next year. It's the goal is to always end the season on a win, and we weren't able to do that. And that win, usually if you want to end season on a win, it's going to be the national championship game. And so yeah, it brought us to the second year where we went to the tournament, and again we had an unfortunate loss against Notre Dame. We played in our first game. That as well, I remember. It's you always remember those games. I think our co-captain with me, Nico Sturm, got kicked out for what we thought was kind of a suspect call, but that's not something you can control. And when your best player gets kicked out, it was it's a little hard on the team. And we thought we battled well, and we ended up losing in overtime, which was a heartbreaker as well, because you remember the last year and not advancing for one game. And then you take it to my fourth and last year, where obviously the pandemic hit. But we always said throughout the year, there's no way us seniors are leaving not 500 or more at the tournament, or when we were down 0-2. So that's kind of how you learn and you build character throughout the years.
Yeah, it seemed like that game against Notre Dame, you kind of ran into a hot goaltender that they had. I'm blanking on his name, but he was like, I think he won the goaltender of the
Kale
year.
Morris.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah, just the name
Mm-hmm.
was blanking on me. So that was that a factor in that game as well. And like, how do you try to deal with the frustration of going against a hot goalie like that?
Yeah, I think he got a great season, and we knew that heading in. And but we also knew that our goalie Jake Kiley, which we thought was the best goalie, in the NCAA, and so we were confident playing against a hot goalie when you have one yourself. And it was really a good battle between the goaltenders. And I go back to Jake, our goalie. He even stopped a penalty shot in overtime, which you don't see often at the tournament. And so it was frustrating for us not being able to score one more. But at the end of the day, I think we were up until a minute and a half at the end of the game. So again, we got to tip the cap to them, and you just learn and move on.
Now, going into your junior year, you were named captain of the team. What type of leadership did you want to bring to the team? Were you more of a vocal or lead by example type of player?
I'd say I was more of a vocal captain. I think I was someone who made sure that everyone was included all the time, and made sure that the culture was instilled in the team. And yeah, I think that that's my kind. And I was lucky enough to we had a co-captain, me and Nico, and he was probably a little more lead by example, quiet guy, and so I think we made a great duo. But as for me, that's kind of what I brought to the table. Kind of just instilling that winning mentality, and including everyone and making sure everyone's on their game and stuff like that. And so yeah.
And at what point during that regular season did you realize your team was capable of winning the ECAC championship?
It's a good question. I think honestly, I think it would date back to the year before. For being honest, because obviously in college everyone comes back. Most guys come back, and we knew we were losing some good seniors, but we also knew we had some great freshmen coming in. And as soon as we lost that game against Princeton in the sophomore season, we said next year is our year. And we knew Cornell would be in our way. A couple teams would be in our way, but we knew that we if we showed determination, our winning culture, and I think it showed in that final game.
Yeah, just talk about winning the ECAC championship for you the first time in your career. What emotions were going through your head, and just talk about just winning that game and what you took away from that game overall.
Oh, it was great. I think it was definitely the highlight of my college career. I think one of the biggest emotions running through at the time was that we did it kind of thing. It's probably like that for a lot of teams, but in our case, it was kind of building from that freshman mediocre year where we thought, there's no way we're going through 4 years of this. We got to change and we got to become a top 10 program. And in a span of 2 years, winning losing the finals and then the next year winning it all in overtime was great. And to beat a great team like Cornell, which I'm pretty sure were ranked first for a long time in that season, was really cool for us. And I was happy for a lot of guys on the team, the seniors, and guys who we knew were leaving on NHL deals and stuff like that. So definitely the highlight of the college career.
Yeah, and in your senior year, you were on your way to another ECAC championship before the season got shut down because of the pandemic. Where did you find out that news that your season was canceled, and how did you react to that whole situation, especially since you were a senior and your college hockey career was over?
Tough situation. I think it was a tough situation for every senior in the country. I personally was in my apartment with my three roommates, and we found out. We actually found out. Pretty sure we found out through Twitter that I knew we knew things were getting canceled one at a time. So we saw a couple of the divisions conferences getting canceled, and then we knew that our playoff series against Colgate was canceling because Colgate was pulling out, and then every single team kind of pulled out. We were left with four teams, and and then we learned through Twitter that obviously our coach called a meeting right after we all showed up at the rink. But the very moment I knew my career was over, I was at home, and it was hard to take just because you build all year for your last year, your last go. And like I had said before in the podcast, just we had that, I'm not leaving college hockey without at least being 500 at the tournament. So we had, we knew we wanted two wins to head to the Frozen Four, and we knew we were capable of doing that. And so that for us to be season get shut down was definitely tough.
Yeah, and even though your college hockey career ended unexpectedly, what do you overall take away from your time at Clarkson?
Oh, best 4 years of my life. It was great. I mean, you make lifelong connections. You have some, you on the friend side and social side, it's awesome time, and you get to meet new people. On the academic side, you get to graduate with a degree playing the sport you love, and then on the hockey and professional side, well, you get to prepare well and make the jump to pro. And so, for me, it was great. It was just, awesome.
Now, we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, just to get to know you a little bit off the ice. My first question to you is, what music do you like to listen to before a game?
Before the game, depends how long before the game, but when I get to the rink, probably a lot of country in the room, just guys getting loose. And then as soon as we kind of get close to the game, the closer we get, there'll be some more electro music and house music, and gets more intense, and even some rock and roll in there, and just get guys amped up.
Now, what is your biggest pet peeve?
It's a good question. I'd have to say probably when people, the roommates or people in the fam, don't close the toothpaste. That's all that, the cap's off. That's one of the top pet peeves, I'd say.
Yeah, I've never had to experience that before. The only thing with toothpaste, sometimes I never get rid of it. Like, I'm so cheap with it. Like, it'll be all the way like pulled down, and I just
You're
might just find it.
scrolling the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the one thing with toothpaste that might bother other people that I do a lot. So I'm a bit frugal when it comes to that type of stuff.
At least you're closing the cap, though.
Yes, that I do close the cap though. What is your favorite outdoor activity?
If golf counts, I gotta go with golf.
Yes.
Got kind of picked up golf actually at Clarkson freshman year. We had a golf course close by, so guys would go golf a lot when the weather permits, obviously. And then, nice to play in California last year where you can golf year round. So,
Yeah.
golf is up there for sure.
Now, final non-hockey question is, what is your favorite movie or TV show?
Um, Favorite movie is definitely Forrest Gump.
Oh, I
Um,
love that movie.
Yeah, I love everything about it. I think it's funny at the same time. It's, just a good story. It's got good history in it. People pay attention. I've watched it a gazillion times. It's, favorite movie for sure. Favorite show. Uh, Obviously I loved Friends. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Favorite show is a toss up between a lot of them.
Now, back to some hockey questions now. My first one to you is, what advice would you give a younger player who's trying to pursue a Division I college hockey scholarship?
Um, For me, I think it'd be trust the process. It wasn't an easy road for me getting to college hockey, especially coming from Quebec. Didn't they get drafted in the Quebec Junior Major League here when 2 years in a row when I thought I would. So that kind of threw me off, and then just kind of chipping away at just finding a way to get to college hockey where um, was a late bloomer, and so I'd say the younger generation that kind of wants to play college hockey, just chip away and trust the process. If you put in the work, it'll come. So, don't get discouraged. It's a long process, but it's definitely possible.
Well, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your family members, friends, teammates before I let you go?
Uh, Maybe I'll give a shout out to my girlfriend who was at the World Championships with. I guess the first time I'm gonna have to root for Team USA, but she's starting in a couple days, so got to give a shout out to her for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. I had her on the podcast before too, so I'm definitely be rooting for her and for Team USA as well. So hopefully they can get the gold medal in that tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully.
Well, thank you so much, Devin, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Take care, stay safe, and I just want to let you know that you're one of my favorite players to watch in college hockey. So it was an honor getting the chance to talk to you a little bit about your experience at Clarkson.
Awesome. Thanks, man.